assessors, the township assessor, or the chief county assessor, they do what's called a quadrennial reassessment. That theoretically, they will reassess all of the property in your township, hoping that the values will meet fair market value. The complete list of that is then published, and then individual taxpayers get a card in the mail. In Edwardsville, we just got our card notifying us of our assessment change. Changes also in the assessment, it happens throughout the year, but this is a very important time in the assessment process because they are publishing now, they are publishing the real estate assessment changes. They publish these in newspapers. I just noticed today that in the Troy paper they had Jarvis Township, and it's been the Alton paper, I think, has had it published in there as well. And they have to be all done with that by August the 9th. How do you make a determination if your assessment on your house is fair? There's two criteria. Again, you're getting back to the fair market value and the assessed value. What you need to do is take a look at the fair market value of your property and match it up with recent sales of similar properties in your neighborhood. If there's a variation, you may have an opportunity to change your assessment. Same way with the assessed value with your property. If it's different or if there's a variation with similar properties in your neighborhood, you may have a shot at changing your assessment. Next slide, please. What do you do if you believe that your assessment is not fair or if it is incorrect? You have two opportunities. One is the informal appeal process, whereby you will go to the county assessor's office or the township assessor's office, explain to them that they have some bad information on your property. Maybe they have you shown as vinyl siding when you have brick or vice versa. Any of those kinds of things you could call attention to them. If it's early enough in the year, they can make that change in their book. They could just merely make that change. But unfortunately, that time is actually already passed because they've completed all of the books and given those to Debbie Ming's office for the tax year. So what you would have to do now if you wanted to appeal your assessment would be to file an appeal, a formal appeal, with the Madison County Board of Review. They are to be filed, and it's important to note you have until September 10th to do that because they've put the notices in the paper, they've sent out the cards, and now you've got until September 10th to file that appeal. Next slide, please. How do you appeal your assessment? Again, go to the office, get what they call is the property record card. Make sure that the information that they have on your property is correct. People are involved in this process and people make mistakes. So you want to make sure that your property record card is correct. Then you also want to determine the fair market value. Make sure the fair market value of your property and the assessment of your property is correct. What you can do, and all of this stuff is on the internet. You can get on the county's website and find out what your neighbor's properties are also assessed at. And you can also go to a real estate site. Coldwell Banker has such a site, or you could go to a site called Zillow.com, ZILLOW.com. Put your address in there, and it will show all of the adjacent sales of property around your property. You want to make sure that what that sales shows is of a property the same as yours or similar to yours. So after you get all of that information and put that together, you'll file a written complaint on a form that the county assessor provides, a non-farm assessment complaint, and you file that with the County Board of Review. The Board of Review will review that, they'll have a hearing, they will look at your evidence, they'll hear their evidence, and then they will decide whether or not your assessment should be lowered, and therefore, by extension, your tax will be lowered. Once you've filed that, the board will make a determination based upon all the facts and the evidence, and if you don't like that response, you still got a couple of more shots. You can file your appeal in writing to the state of Illinois, what they call the Property Tax Appeal Board, or what that they call it the P-TAB, which is a 5-member board that's appointed by the governor. They meet in Springfield, and they again will take the evidence that you have and the evidence that the Board of Review has, and then they will make a determination. But in those cases, when it's gone this far, you still got to pay your tax. But they will, if they find in your favor, they will pay that back and get a check to you. I was just at a meeting the other day, and a guy came up and said, I got a check from your office, which is unusual. But he filed an appeal with the Property Tax Appeal Board. He won, and we gave him his refund on a large part of his property tax bill. Then you can also, if you don't use the Property Tax Appeal Board, you can also appeal it to the circuit court by filing what's called a tax objection. Generally, what you'll need to do there is to hire an attorney, because it's actually filing a court case. You're putting all your evidence together, and all this stuff will go before a judge, and then they can make the decision on whether or not your assessment is correct. Next slide, please. One thing I like to also remind people is to make sure that they're receiving all of the deductions that they are due. We have general homestead exemption deduction. We have a senior citizen deduction. There are deductions for disabled people, disabled veterans, and we send this information out in the tax bills that come out of my office to make sure people are aware of the exemptions that are available. You'd be surprised, at our help test we get a lot of people that didn't know that they were able to get these, and we do pick up quite a few of those. And it's general exemption is if it's owner occupied, it's $6,000, so it's real money. Next slide, please. When do you receive your tax bill? Once all the assessments are finalized, the tax rates get determined. At the treasurer's office, my office, gets all of that information. As I said, then we mail out that real estate tax bill between early May and early June. This year we were a month ahead than last year. We mailed them out May the 25th. The 4-payment plan that was adopted last year is still in place. We're committed to keeping that in place, and that will continue. That allows taxpayers to make 4 equal payments. It's unusual in that most counties in the state of Illinois only allow 2 payments, but we have 4 payments due in July, in September, October, and December. Again, I made sure that these were a month ahead of time to allow people to have all of the payments done within 1 year. Last year they had it and went over into the following year. Next slide, please. How do you pay your taxes? Again, my office is as the collector. We try to offer as many payment options as we can. You can obviously pay in the office. You can pay by credit card, debit card. We can schedule an immediate withdrawal from your checking or savings account, or we can schedule a withdrawal from your checking or savings account, an automatic deduction. You can also pay at over 115 local banks that we are partnered with, and you can also pay by the monthly payment plan, or you can pay in 1 full installment, 2 equal installments, or 4 equal installments. The monthly payment plan, this is a program that the Treasurer's Office, my office, has provided that will allow taxpayers